Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. So hope everyone's well and keeping away from the lurgy. Things are sort of slowly going back to normal, or at least they are for us here in England. I know that Wales and Scotland are still in lockdown, so yeah, wish them all the best. So today's video is not going to be as long. It's about the modifications I've made to my Bachmann diesel depot. So the picture you're looking at the moment is the prototype. That's the one that I'm going to use. Only the side, so not the entire building. So what I've basically done is taken inspiration, shall we say, from the side of that building, and I've modified my Bachmann shed on one side to accommodate that. So you'll see how I've done it and what the end job is. So enjoy the video. Any comments, please let me know, and yeah, enjoy the video. So I've now got my parts back from the laser cutter. So the plan is to actually cut the side of this out, sort of like something up there, across there and down there. So actually take this chunk physically out. Have to be a little bit careful because this is funny stuff, but I'm sure I can get around that. Also, I'm going to take off this downpipe because that'll be in the way. And then the replacement side will sit on there like that. So that's been specifically designed to sit on there. There's a glazing to go underneath it. So that glazing goes underneath like that. And then the window frames should have been a bit more organised and got this out. Sitting there like that. Now the lower band where you've got the four, that's going to be greyed out, so you won't physically be able to see through there. And on the prototype picture, they're like individual panels. So I assume there's like where you've got stuff inside for the workshop and stuff. That's why that wouldn't be glazing. But then going above that, you've got the windows. So. And the reason why I've done that, I wasn't originally going to do that because I just thought that the windows that were on there already were adequate. But I've done so much work inside, I thought, well, it's a shame really not to be able to see inside. So hence why I've decided to do this. So what I should be doing shortly is going down the paint shop, putting the grey along the bottom of the glazing, and then I can assemble that. And then paint the brickwork up best I can to sort of match that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm sure that I'll be able to pretty much reproduce that on there. So that's the Bachmann replacement Bachmann side for that. Very much in Pat style. I didn't really know how to cut this building. It's made of a really sort of like a plaster, sort of like a really sort of strange stuff. So I did think about doing it with a saw, but that don't really help me for going along the top and other bits and pieces. In the end, I decided for the typical Pat brutal approach. Anyone of a nervous disposition, please look away now. And I should give warnings really. Whenever I use these sort of tools, if you're not competent to use these sort of tools, I really don't recommend it, because these are the sort of things that can cause very serious harm very quickly. On a serious note, that nearly all these sort of tools is you don't realise you've got a problem until you're a digit missing or something. So even though you might see me using them, I am sort of like got half an idea of what end to hold. But yeah, I don't highly recommend them for this sort of thing. And some of this is done a little bit tongue-in-cheek as well. This is probably a bit of an overkill, but it's as I say, it's done a little bit tongue-in-cheek. But here we go. This is the quickest way, and it's typical Pat. Those that know me will know that I have a history of being typical Pat. So here goes. As brutal as that looked, to be fair, you can be really gentle with a tool like that. You just have to sort of be confident with using it. And once you're confident, you can actually be, as I say, very gentle with that. So that's done that without any other damage. And I think as brutal as that was, or as gentle as that was, for me, that's worked out to be the best way. So I think if I'd have tried to cut it with a saw or get some other sort of tool in there, I think I would have just struggled with that. So yeah, that was definitely the easiest way for me. But as I say, unless you're used to using tools of that nature, then I don't recommend that you go out and buy a angle grinder and just start hacking Bachmann buildings around. But there you go. So whilst I'm waiting for everything to dry now, I thought I'd take the time to show you these window frames. I've had them laser cut, so they're only cut out of like a almost paper, but they're really superb, they are. I've sprayed them white as well, so they have had a coat of paint. I'm just trying to think of if I do it like that, you can maybe see them a bit better. They're absolutely superb. Yeah, done by my mate Jeff. He does do commission work as well, so if anyone's interested, drop me a message and I'll forward it on to him. He's not the cheapest, but he will design it as well for you. So, you know, if you sort of send him a rough idea of what you want, he will actually sort of like work with you, and you actually end up with what you get. And you know, sometimes for bespoke stuff like what these depot windows were, it's the only way to go. I'm quite sad now, and the Bachmann depot is nice, and obviously it's sort of like ready to land on the layout, but having sort of like been working with this and the windows and stuff, I wish now I'd have just gone for a sort of the scratch build in the beginning, because this side's going to look really nice. But yeah, I am thoroughly impressed with these windows. They are superb, and exactly what I wanted. And you know, the other good thing about the laser cutting is it all comes back and it all fits. So as you've seen, what I've actually got, he did actually engrave all of the brickwork on it as well for me, but it went, when I was painting, when I was trying to get the mortar course in, it just went, well, for me, terribly wrong. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's the sort of like the corner there. Maybe that's not as bad as what I thought it was originally, but I was just trying, and it was just really struggling to actually get it to flow in. And when I spoke to him about it, what I should have done was like sealed this first, because it's like, being as the MDF is porous, which I suppose I should have known, it's just going to sort of like suck the paint up. But I thought maybe putting a couple of 3 coats in, and that would solve the problem, but it just seems to be making more of a mess. Like I said, now it's dried, well, I wouldn't have been happy with it anyway. So that's why I've now gone and put like my own brickwork on it, which I think's worked really well. And like I say, I'm sorry, Jeff, for all that effort you put into inscribing all them bricks for me, but it has to look right. And this, so this is just a like a brick paper, Metcalf brick paper I've used. The windows is just a sheet, as you see earlier on from when I was carving it around. What I've done is on the prototype, or on the actual bottle, on the actual like prototype building, what we've actually got on the prototype building is along here is, I'm guessing, where the desks and or work benches are and stuff. So that's why these are all sort of like filled in, but there's actual like panels missing as well. So that's why I've left the gaps, and I'm hoping that I can put something on the other side to sort of represent where. So I don't think these were, looking at it, I think that these were actual filled in panels as opposed to the glazing. So it's got like fiberglass sort of stuff in there, so I need to sort of try and replicate that somehow, but I can try and do that from behind. Don't quite know what I'm going to do. I'll just find something to put on there just to make it look a little bit different. But I'm really pleased with this, and like I say, when I drop the windows in, I just love it, to the point of where I'm considering getting him to do some more for me, and just sort of actually maybe do another building like this, because it's just, yeah, I like it. That's it now, with the window dropped in. It's not gone in exactly, I just need to push it a little bit more, but yeah, that's what it looks like with the windows in. And so the only way to actually achieve that is to sort of have it done bespokely. So yep. And then the framework, or what I was doing to go around the outside of that, was there's like a concrete on the prototype, there's a concrete plinth that goes around the outside. So that's what I was just making up there. I'm just waiting for that to dry. Probably going to need another coat, and then I can apply that. and then stick the windows in, and hopefully that'll be that done. What I'm going to use, I've got some 3M mounting spray, so I'm just going to use that to spray the back of them windows, and then I shall just stick them in. So hopefully that'll work, because I don't think there's any other way. They're too fine to sort of do anything else with, so hopefully the mounting glue. And the other good thing about that is it will just stick to the actual back of the card itself, and not, so when I actually apply the windows, there shouldn't be any sort of like overspill onto the glazing. Well, that's the plan. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm just about to take these down the garden, give them a quick spray, and then bring them back up and install them. Okay, so I've just gone down and I've applied my tack adhesive. I did it outside because last time I did it up here and everything was sticky everywhere, so it's probably one of them things that's best to apply outside rather than inside. So here it goes. Just got to make sure I get them in the right place and up the right way. That is definitely one of those jobs that you don't want to be rushing, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with the way that's come out. I think it looks really good. And the tack adhesive, it's not cheap. That's the stuff I got. That's probably, I can't remember how much that was. I think it was a tenner, or it might have even been 15 quid with the postage. But it's, you know, you spray it on the back of there, and then you can just add the glass or add the window frames without any sort of fear of getting any sort of marks on the glazing. I think that was Luke Tarrant had suggested that in one of his videos, and I totally agree. It's absolutely superb way of doing it. Like I said, it's not the cheapest of stuff, and it's probably better to, you know, in this particular case, try and sort of buy the best, or as most best as you can get, because, you know, at least this is 3M is a good name. So, you know, I can only recommend that. And like I said, I don't see any other way. Put them in and then try and glue them in. I suppose even if you was to use like the glue and glaze, this stuff, I don't know how cleanly you could actually do it with this. So yeah, this stuff I thoroughly recommend for a job like that. Okay, so there you are. That's the depot back in the rightful place now. It's been quite a while because there's, that got sent away just before the lockdown, so it's been a fair while without that being on there. So it's nice to see it back. There's a little bit more I need to do. I need to hide the transition between the new and the old brickwork, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some angle like what I did over on the RFD depot. So I'll just paint them yellow and blend them in. I've actually got them ordered, and hopefully they should be sort of like tomorrow or the next day. That's not a major job. I'll just cut them to length and paint them and stick them on there. But at least it's back now and I can see what it's going to look like. I've decided that the four windows that I purposely missed to put something behind, I just went for the good old electrician's black tape. It does change the colour slightly, and I think it looks a bit better. I don't know, mind you all know by now whether I have or haven't, but I'm still contemplating whether or not I need to put it in a video about how I actually cut the sides out. I suppose there was two options. I could have used like a little whizzy wheel, but the big one, the big whizzy wheel, was just as effective if used correctly. You know, it might be a bit of a ball in a china shop job, but it got the job done. It was safe. But as I said, on a more serious note, I certainly don't recommend that you rush out and buy one of them to cut a Bachmann model up with, especially if you've not had a lot of experience with using them, because they can, you know, they will hurt you, but you won't realise they've hurt you until it's too late. So if you're using tools of that nature, you do need to extreme caution. That's what I will say. But then that's me all over Pat style. Apparently, there was a rumour going around that I once used a tank cutter, 25mm tank cutter, to cut out a class 50 roof fan. I mean, I don't know who started that vicious rumour, but yeah, some of the boys that know me will know. But there you go, that's Pat style all over. We'll get the job done. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to leave it here now. It's unlike me to sort of do two in 2 days, but like I said, I was keen to get this finished and I was keen to share it with you. So hope everyone keep well, keep safe, and I'll come back to you when I've got some more. We're going to be doing I'm going to go back to the other end now. I've got some more grass and stuff and bits and pieces to do. I was watching the scrap line video on the river he done and the overbridge, and I was totally blown away by that. I think top marks to the guy. It was absolutely fantastic. The construction of it and the way it looked, I was thoroughly impressed with the end job, and actually inspired me to sort of go and do a little bit more scratch building. It did look absolutely fantastic. So I need something to go over to the road bridge, sort of up to hide sort of the other end where it exits up by the station. I did have a laser cut build, or I did have a laser cut bridge up there, but it just don't suit the application. I've hacked it around a bit to sort of try and make it fit, but it just isn't fitting. And having watched him and what he's done, I think there's hope yet that I might sort of get round to actually trying to scratch build something, because that looks absolutely brilliant. So it has to be slightly different because the lattice is for the road, but then you could, I think Rochester Bridge is similar to that, so I might go and have a look at the way that Rochester Bridge is done, and possibly sort of try and copy that a little bit with the lattices. That's always been a bridge I used to love going across, even when I was a kid. I used to go across on the train and used to watch the rafters run by back in the days when Seps and Veps were doing it. So yeah, so that's something I might well go and do. Anyway, everyone out there, keep safe, keep well, and I'll come back to you when I've got a bit more.